a few months ago, we had this really heartbreaking revelation from Disturbed frontman David Draiman, where he revealed on stage that he was in a very bad place earlier this year, and he considered joining Chester and Chris Cornell, and he was going through a lot. Apparently, he had lost his dog. Apparently, he had the end of his marriage, and he was just sort of sitting in this empty house. And now he's sort of expounded upon that. And first of all, I just want to commend him, because the most important thing to take away from this is that what he's saying, I know somebody out here watching this, anybody who's watching the interviews he's done, what anyone at his shows, his fans that listen, probably relate to that and have been through hard times and have felt what he's felt. And you can tell how sincere he's being in this. And I've always admired the massive career that Disturbed has built. And I think that it's so courageous for him to kind of share his true feelings on this. And now he's talking about the frustration when he was at his lowest point, and he was, and I also want to shout out one other thing out with David Draiman. By the way, it's not just that he had the courage of talking about going through this. What a fitness transformation this guy has done. He has dropped 30-something pounds. You got to give the guy a round of applause, because he was at his lowest earlier this year, and he turned it around on multiple fronts. He has dropped some serious weight and has really been putting in the work on the dude looks jacked. And so I just wanted to say that too, because you got to root for people that are getting in shape and all that stuff. That's something I'm always trying to do. And I just love to see when people are able to do that. But he spoke to the charismatic voice about how hard it was. So apparently when David was at his lowest and he was trying to get that help that he needed, he's saying it was laughably bad. So apparently when David was at that point and he was trying to get the assistance that he needed, which obviously is so important, he was stonewalled at every turn, even with someone like him with his resources, and I'm sure probably his wealth. Even he couldn't find anywhere to get assistance, and he couldn't find anyone to talk to. Everyone's booked up, and that's the thing, is that there seems to be so much despair going on in the world right now, and it's just becoming really difficult for people to, mental health services are just very much lacking in this country, and that is heartbreaking. And so he talked to the charismatic voice, and I just commend him because he's helping a lot of people talking about this. And he says, people classically have viewed it as a weakness. Now, why can't you use logic and reason and the beauty that you're surrounded by in your life to dispel what's happening to you? It's because it's not under your control. Logic and reason don't respond to it. You can make all the sense in the world. What's happening to you doesn't make sense. It's no different. And I've said this on numerous occasions, and it couldn't be more true. It's no different than cancer. You don't have control over cancer. It eats away at you from the inside. It metastasizes if you allow it. And you can't be blamed for depression or addiction, even for that matter. And any more than you can contracting cancer or some other debilitating disease. You don't want it. You're not asking for me. You're not too weak, and that's why you succumb to it. It's out of your control. So he said that he wasn't able to find a therapist. He wasn't able to find any in-network coverage, and saying that most of them don't even take insurance. He said, my biggest critique of the status quo is that we don't have enough support. A phone number isn't enough. It's not. For many, it takes a tremendous amount of courage to go ahead and dial that number in the first place. And let's say that you're in a position like I am. What am I going to do? Call an 800 number? I can't do that. So finding help when you finally get to the point that you're crying out for it should be easier to get. I couldn't agree with that more. He said, when I was at my low point about 3 months ago, and I had just said goodbye to my dog of 14 years, my best friend, which that's heartbreaking. Sometimes losing pets is very tough. He says, I'm in this house that I got specifically because I had the dog, 110-pound male dog, my Gabriel, my guardian angel. And now I'm in this house all alone, and my son isn't with me, and I'm divorced, and I'm not feeling well. And everywhere I look, I see my dog. Everything reminds me of him. I reached out and I tried to get help, and it was unfucking believably frustrating. Everybody's unavailable. Nobody's taking new patients. They want you to do this evaluation, that evaluation. Do you have the money for it? Can you qualify for it? Is it in your insurance plan? Fuck you. Enough. I'm telling you. You get to the point where you're vulnerable enough that you're desperate enough and you need help. Fucking help me. I ended up going to one therapist, and she ended up telling me she didn't have enough time to cure me and pawns me off to 3 other therapists that didn't have enough time to cure me. It shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be as much of a business as it is, as he said. He goes on, we need to be way more proactive about mental health in this country, in this world, in the society that we live in. It shouldn't be so much easier, and it's not. I mean, thank God for my son. Thank God for good people that I have around me. Thank God for my fans and my band and the performances, because without them, I don't know if I could have gotten through. And some of the things that save me every day are some of the things that led to the demise of my colleagues. The pressure, being under the microscope, having every note, every word, every moment, every behavior analyzed, and the expectations that come with it. That once you achieve a certain level, that's what they expect from you every single night. And not being able to hit those notes that they're dying to hear from you is demoralizing in a way I can't even explain. When you become the key to unlock the door and you can't unlock it yourself anymore, it's a terrifying status quo to live in. For too many of my colleagues, it exacerbated their already severe depression. It's just so great to see him on the right track there, where he is obviously going through so much and he's fighting through that. And I know that him talking about this is going to help so many people out there that listen to their music, and his music has already helped so many people, but this is just really next level here, him speaking so candidly, because there is a shortage. It is too much like a business. It is something that needs to be fixed in this country. And on top of that, he didn't just rely on that aspect. He also did something about his health and wellness, and he is getting physically fit and all of that. And so it's just, this is a very, very empowering and encouraging thing to see from David Draiman, where he's not just helping himself. I do think that he's going to be doing a great deal of help to his fans, and that's so important. And so it's just, my heart goes out to him. It really does. And it is great to see him sort of setting such a great example for the fans out there. And I know that it's a difficult time for a lot of people right now. And there are a lot of people that are hurting in this country, and it's, it's tough. And so it's courageous for him to share that. So shout out to David Draiman. And so folks, that is all for now. If you like this video, you can subscribe to Rockfeed for more news and updates about your favorite bands.